Hello and welcome. You tune into Market Fatafat with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Shrishti Sharma. This is the show where we take you through all the stocks that are buzzing in trade, either on the back of news flow or on the back of technicals. But before we get started, let's take a quick market check. Shrishti, what a stellar week coming before we sign off for 2023. I mean, we are sustaining the rally that we saw yesterday, and Nifty also opened up to record high, above those 21,700 levels. It eased off, but then we recouped the gains and we are well above those levels now.
Well, yes, absolutely, Ankita. Stellar gains coming in for the markets, and as we inch closer to the year 2023, Nifty as well as Bank Nifty have already seen a stellar run-up, and even today we have managed to touch that all-time high levels for both these indices. Other than that, if we talk about as of now, the Nifty holding a gains of almost 100 points and Bank Nifty gaining almost 300 points as of now. If we talk about some of the gainers in Nifty 50, then a lot of counters that are seen to be buzzing, but it's the metal pack that is shining bright on the back of the slide that we have seen in the dollar index, which was seen to be at 100.5 odd levels, and all these counters from the likes of SAIL, Tata Steel, Nalco, they were all seen to be shining bright. But some of the other counters in focus is definitely Hindustan Copper. After getting out of the F&O ban, the stock is zooming in trade, gaining almost 13%. If we talk about Hindustan Petro, that's another PSU stock that is seen to be buzzing, almost 9% gain coming in. And like I mentioned, that metal counters are shining bright. The Nalco holding on to gains of 7%, and even SAIL is shining bright with a 5% uptick. So clearly the oil and gas space as well as the metal pack are stealing the show for today. And even if we talk about the breadth of the markets, that's a bit of an even Steven as of now. But nevertheless, the benchmark indices are holding on to the gains, and that will be very interesting to know how the second half pans out to be. A bit of a volatility expected because there is going to be a reject. Other than that, it's today is the weekly, monthly as well as the yearly expiry for Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. So it's going to be indeed a volatile session as expected, but we will have all eyes on that. But before that, let's move forward in this show, Market Fatafat, and welcome on board our technical expert for today as well as our team of researchers. On technical front, we are being joined by Foram M.Chheda. On the research side, we are being joined by Snehi as well as Vamakshi. A very good afternoon to all three of you. Great having you. But with this, let's kickstart with the first counter that is in focus. And Ankita, let's start with you then. Hutco seeing no stopping and one of the best performers today.
Absolutely, Hutco. In fact, it hit its intraday high today, its life highs, and the stock is buzzing away in trade, and it's coming on the back of the fact that it has executed an MOU, with the state government of Gujarat for investment of a whopping 14,500 crore rupees of financing the housing and urban infrastructure projects in the state of Gujarat. Now, the MOU was inked by Hutco's chairman and managing director Sanjay Kulshetra and the state officials in the presence of the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Bhupendra Patel. And, the state government has invited proposals for investments from banking and financial services institutions for housing and infrastructure projects ahead of the Vibrant Gujarat Summit 2024, which is likely to be held in the month of January. And on the back of this, Hutco is buzzing away in trade, up almost 18%.
Okay, moving forward, the second stock in focus is Exide Industries, as the company has announced a further investment of around 40 crores in their electric battery subsidiary, and this will be via subscription of equity shares for this particular subsidiary, that is Exide Energy Solutions. On a right basis, the company has been investing in this particular subsidiary, and it has all the plans to get the electric battery in the next 1 or 2 years. And we have also analyzed that this company is expected to have the first mover advantage in terms of getting an electric vehicle battery made in India. If we talk about the total investments in this particular subsidiary, that is Exide Energy Solutions, now with this additional 40 crores, the total investment now stands at 1820 crores, and definitely a positive news coming in for Exide Industries. As of now, the stock is at the day's highest point, holding on to the gains of almost 1% as of now.
And well, moving on then, Forum, the counter that you have picked up is GICRE, General Insurance Corporation of India. Tell us, what are you seeing on the charts now? This stock has already given gains of 70% in the last 6 months. how should one be placing their bets now?
Well, hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me on the show. Well, to begin with, we did see a very good run actually last month from the levels of closer to 222. The stock price had rallied up to around 337 levels. So that's a very good steep up move what we've seen. But post that, it kind of retraced and it has been consolidating for this entire 1 month. And this retracement is technically actually a 38.2% retracement as per the Fibonacci levels. So since it's just retraced as per the technical levels and has been consolidating in a very sideward range, it indicates that it has been just taking its time to begin its further up move. Now, a very interesting part is that the consolidation is also happening near the higher levels or near the resistance. So the interesting and add-on interesting part is that the volume is increasing. The delivery volumes have been marginally increasing day by day, which indicates that there is some accumulation also happening. Thus, one can look at buying the stock or accumulate at current levels and maintain a stop loss below the levels of around 296 and look for a higher target of closer to 345 to around 350.
Thank you so much, Foram. But moving on to another stock that a researcher has picked up, and Vamakshi has picked Green Panel. Now, Green Panel is, it's up 8% in trade today. Tell us what is the news flow that's firing this particular stock.
Well, yes, Ankita, as you rightly pointed out, the stock is up and away in the trading session today, and that is on the back of some comments that came through from the management. Keep in mind that ICICI Securities caught up with the management of Green Panel Industries, and here are some of the important takeaways from that interaction. The management highlighted that domestic demand trend in the MDF market remains quite healthy. The company is witnessing single-digit growth sequentially, and this has come in despite heightened imports during the ongoing quarter. MDF could see some softening, especially the imports could see a bit of softening in this fourth quarter, and in fact this could actually result in better growth for the domestic manufacturers. Despite wood prices still rising in the southern regions of India, management has indicated that the operating margin would remain stable, and that is mainly on account of operating leverage kicking in. Apart from that, they've also tweaked their EBITDA estimates for FY24 and 26 by almost 3 to 1% and maintain its buy rating with a revised target price of almost 481 rupees per share. So all in all, positive commentary coming from the management of Green Panel Industries, and that is the reason why the stock is in focus today. As of now, the stock is trading higher by nearly 9%.
Well, yes, great gains coming in on Green Panel Industries. But moving on, let's focus to Mahindra Life Spaces. Foram, tell us how the chart's looking like for this one.
Well, talking about this particular stock, now actually from the highs of 598, which it had marked in September, the stock price was actually in a declining phase, and in fact it was forming lower tops and lower bottoms. It formed a low of closer to around 475, and that is in the month of November. And since then, the stock price has been picking up some upside momentum gradually. So when we've seen this entire move, a gradual up move, overall comparatively, it has been underperforming the benchmark. But now, interestingly, there has been very high volumes in the past 2 to 3 trading sessions, which is indicating there is something happening there and it is picking up momentum. As far as price currently is concerned, it has been moving near the resistance level and it is attempting to break out from a downward sloping trend line, which indicates that it is likely to witness some momentum because there is a breakout very close to the breakout level, good increase in volume. And additionally, there has been a crossover where the prices moved above the 50-day moving average as well as the 100-day moving average. So it indicates that there is some bullish momentum that we can expect in the near term. Thus, one can look at buying at current levels, maintain a stop loss below the levels of 525 and look for a higher target of closer to around 575.
Alright, those are the targets that you need to be watching out for this particular counter. But moving on, in Snehi, what's up with KPI Green Energy seeing stellar gains in today's trading session?
Well, absolutely, Shrishti. KPI Green Energy is holding very well in today's trading session, up almost 5% as we speak, and this is on the back of two news flows. So let's look at both of them at a time. The first one is that the company has announced that it has successfully commissioned solar power projects totaling 17.35 megawatts as part of its captive power producer business segment along with its wholly owned subsidiary KPI Energy. So on the back of this commissioning of solar power projects, that has also aided the stock. And another news flow is that in a separate filing, the company also said that it will be conducting a board meeting on the 30th of December, which is day after tomorrow, and they will be considering a proposal to issue bonus shares to eligible shareholders, among other important matters, of course. So on the back of both of these news flows, the stock is holding up well in trade today, almost 5% higher.
Right, and moving on to the next counter that you have picked up, Foram, it's Asahi India Glass. Why have you picked up this counter? What are you penciling in on the charts for this?
Well, Asahi India Glass has also seen some interesting move as far as the volumes are concerned. Now, overall, the stock price remains in a broad consolidation, so from between 540 to around 580. Currently, the stock price is making an attempt to move up higher, and it is now started moving the second half, that is above on the higher range of the consolidation range as on today. While the stock price is trying to move up higher, there has been a crossover where the stock price is now trying to move above a 50-day moving average as well as a 100-day moving average. Along with that, there is a good increase in volume also happening with this consolidation. So an early entry can be considered at these levels. Secondly, there is like a parabolic SCR indicator which is also in a buy mode, which is supporting the bullishness, and like an indicator like MACD, which is like a trend following indicator, has crossed and moved into the positive territory. So a lot of indicators are indicating a bullish move or supporting the bullishness in the stock, even when the stock price is consolidating. Thus, an early entry can be considered at current levels. Even if it comes down or retraces closer to around 569 to around 570, that is 559 levels, one can look at adding in and maintain a stop loss below the levels of 545 and look for a higher target of closer to 600 to 605.
Okay, moving on, let's shift focus to Aarti Industries. Then this particular counter has been in focus on the back of the news flow that the company has won an order win of 3,000 crores from a global agrochem player. Indeed, a positive news flow coming in for Aarti Industries. And today we managed to speak with the management as well, where they say that they are seeing some demand uptick in the discretionary segment. The agrochemical will take some time to recover, but the demand is expected to recover in the next 2 to 3 quarters, and the EBITDA margin from the contract segment is expected to be around 20%. The full ramp up of the contract segment is to be seen in FY25, as the company is planning to invest around 2,500 crores in the next 2 to 3 years, as well as the European and the China Plus traction is back. The company has maintained their earlier guidance for FY24 as well as 25. So those were the management commentaries coming in from Aarti Industries. But with this, let's go across and hear out to the management as well.
I think longer term, we feel that as we do more value-added product manufacturing, I think we will be there at this kind of number of 20% plus EBITDA for any new addition of products that we do. I think we have an cash also generation which is happening for this year, next year. And looking at overall, I think currently we are at 3,200 crore. We will slightly increase the debt, but I think it should be under 0.7 debt equity.
And well, moving on to another stock, PSU pack is shining away in trade, currently the top sectoral gainer. And amongst that, Canara Bank is also, doing very well, firing away. The PSU Bank has green-lighted the listing of its mutual fund arm Canara Repco Asset Management Company Limited via initial public offerings. Now, the modalities of the listing, the PSU lender said would be decided in due course. Now, Canara Bank said that the listing would be subjected to due diligence, laid down procedures, opportune time and the regulatory approvals. And on the back of this news flow, Canara Bank is up 2% in trade today.
Okay, that's the news flow on Canara Bank. We're moving on. Forum from the next stock on your radar is KIOCL. Tell us how is the technical setup looking like for this one?
This particular counter has actually again seen an underperformance. Now, it had marked a high of closer to around 520 to around 519 in the month of October, and since then it was in a declining phase. Now, it declined and took support near 309 to around 310 levels, that is in the month of November. So we've seen the entire 1 month of decline, and after trying to take support and form a base, the stock price is now gradually picking up some momentum. So in fact, it started moving up, and this month itself, it made a high of closer to around 387 to 388 levels, and since then it has been consolidating. The stock price has been testing these levels of around 380 to 390 levels consistently in this particular month. It's been nearly 3 to 4 times, which means that it is likely to witness some kind of a bullish momentum once we see some kind of a volume increase. Now, gradually there has been a good increase in volume on an average basis. However, a good increase on a daily basis, on a daily trading basis, would lead the stock price to break out. Thus, one can consider buying or make an early entry at current levels and maintain a stop loss below the levels of closer to around 360 and look for a higher target of closer to 440.
Right, and moving on then, Vamakshi, you have picked out Marksons for us. The stock is up 2% in trade. What is the news flow? Tell our viewers, why have you picked out this particular counter?
Well, Ankita, the stock is in focus on the back of some commentary that came through from the management of Marne Pharma. Systematics caught up with the management, and here are some of the key highlights from that meeting. They have highlighted that the company will continue to invest in building a product pipeline targeted at core markets, which includes US, UK as well as Australia. Not just that, they're expecting the company to launch nearly 5 to 8 products each across geographies. New launches are likely to have more over-the-counter products and less prescription products. And apart from that, they've also highlighted that given the company's strong balance sheet, they will be looking forward to acquisitions in order to diversify their geographical presence. Not just that, the company's ongoing capex program entails adding capacities to the newly acquired Teva facility, and in fact they have also highlighted that the Teva facility could start contributing to its business by next year. So a lot of positives coming in for Marne Pharma, and that is the reason why the stock is soaring in trade today. As of now, the stock is trading higher by almost 2%.
Alright then, that's about Marne Pharma. But Snehi, tell us about the new listing on the bourses. That is Aad Engineering, a stellar listing coming out for this one.
Well, absolutely, Shrishti, new kid on the block and a stellar listing coming for this one. Now, the Sachin Tendulkar-backed company made its debut on the bourses today, and the stock listed at 720 rupees per share compared to the issue price of 524. So that's a good premium of 37.4% coming in for the stock on its listing. Now, the public issue was for 740 crore rupees, and it also received very good response from the audiences and investors, and it closed around 80.6 times higher on the last day of its subscription. And the company manufactures complex and highly engineered precision forged and machine components that are mission as well as life critical. So well, the company is also placed in a very niche segment, and it has seen a bumper listing today, and the stock continues to gain as we speak.
Right, and moving on, Foram, next you have picked out Torrent Power for us. Tell us what are the charts penciling in? We have already seen a 50% gain in the last 6 months. It is up a good 83% year to date. What are the moves you're seeing going ahead?
Well, in Torrent Power, one is that last month it formed a low of nearly 784, and there was a steep rise, and the stock price went up to closer to around 1,047 levels. So it's nearly a 33% of gains. Now, this was a very steep move, what we saw in the just very few trading sessions. Since then, the stock price has retraced. Now, as for the Fibonacci retracement, the stock price retraced nearly 61.8%. It has taken support and now is kind of forming its base and now trying to move up higher. Secondly, when the stock price did see a fall, there was hardly any volume. And on the contrary, there were a lot of increase in volume and the stock price was moving up. So it is very much in sync as far as the volume is concerned. So when you have like a price as well as volume being in sync, it indicates that it's doing the right thing. And since it moves above the multiple moving averages of 50, 100 and 200, the overall trend is bullish. Thus, one can consider buying the stock at current levels and maintain a stop loss below the levels of around that is 879, and look for a higher target of closer to around 990 and then closer to 1050.
Alright then, moving forward and shifting focus to Lupin, and this pharma name is in focus on the back of a brokerage note wherein Spark Capital today has gone ahead and upgraded the rating on this particular counter from a buy rating earlier from an ad rating earlier, I beg your pardon. They have now given it a buy rating and have raised the target price from 1350 rupees to 1440 rupees. Why are they sounding so confident on Lupin? The reason is that firstly, their domestic business, they are seeing stability in their in-license portfolio, and the MR productivity improvement will aid the margins is what they believe. The formulations ex-India and the US markets are underappreciated and the scale-up is expected to happen in times ahead. For their US business, they see multiple offsets to a couple of their products. Those were seen to having some bit of a competition, but that's expected to subside. And one of their key drugs, that is G-Spiriva, that's ramping up materially from the current levels. Spark Capital expects their base business margin levers to play out over FY25 as well as FY26, and the EPS estimates for FY25 and 26 have been revised upwards by 6 and 10% respectively, and those are above consensus estimates that they are working with. Now, consensus margin estimates for FY25 and 26 ignore the multiple margin levers across various businesses is what Spark believes, and that's why they have raised the target price on Lupin, and the stock is also holding a gains of almost 2.5% as of now.
And well, moving on, the government may allow exemption from a quality control order for import of certain categories of steel products. Now, the decision will help to meet domestic demand and control product prices. My colleague Prakash Vedarshi is getting you more details on this one.
Yes, an important development coming in as import of some special steel products may get exemption from quality control order. A very significant development coming in as Steel Ministry has already initiated discussion on this issue. In fact, government has identified 12 such special category steel products where exemption can be given. That includes products like aerospace steel grade, heart-shaped tin box, high-speed tool steels, among others. Along with that, exemption in quality control order will be given to meet domestic demand, as industry has already approached government to provide some relaxation in quality control order in order to meet domestic demand. Subsequently, government has asked BIS licensed steel manufacturers to submit their manufacturing capacity to understand the situation of demand and supply in the market. And the final decision in quality control exemption in quality control order will be given after the manufacturer's feedback. So at one hand, it is going to provide some relaxation to these suppliers in order to meet domestic demand. Along with that, it will also help companies to bring down their overall product cost. As you are aware that the import is allowed only from BIS licensed sources for a special category steel grades covered under quality control order.
Well, thank you so much, Prakash, for getting us this exclusive story on the steel sector. We'll definitely keep our eyes on this for further developments. But for now, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to tell more of the buzzing stocks as of now.